Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It's week 3, day number 1 of the LPL, and we are down to our final game of the day.
Hour 50.
Hour 50? What? Hello?
You were like week 3, day 1, hour 50 of the
Hour
LPL.
15 of the LPL. Pretty much is what's going on
It's
here.
a SpongeBob reference,
I know,
Fish.
I know.
Jesus, your name is Fish.
Oh, goodness sake. But we are down to that final game of the day. It's Shinnon Gaming taking on Suning Gaming. The e-commerce wars are still going on. And game 3, FLICKR. We saw, you know, the mouse problems of game 1. We saw the brain fixing of game number 2. What the heck's going to happen going into game 3?
So we are going to have a competition to see who is going to get the priority over jungle mid combo. I have a feeling both junglers are going to throw down the gauntlet and be like, I want to play the aggressive jungler. I want to kill this guy. I want to get in his grill. At least I hope so, because I would hate to see them kind of take a step back and go towards the Sejuani again.
You know, first we saw the pickup of Kha'Zix into Sejuani, then the Rengar into Sejuani, and both times.
Kha'Zix into Rengar.
Pretty much. We've had that matchup already in the LPL. It's so much fun to watch. And, you know, they have to do it for game number 3 because it's just been who can hunt Sejuani better, and both of them have done a good job so far.
And again, it makes so much sense. You look at JD, you have someone like Clid, you have someone like Yagao, an incredibly talented mid laner, an incredibly aggressive jungler, and then you look over at the other side, Suning. It's the Young Miracles combo, Knight and Tian. They used to be teammates back in the LSPL, now teammates in the LPL, trying to give Suning a boost back into their playoff position. So I have a feeling that it's all going to go down on the center of the map.
We can just sidetrack for a little bit, FLICKR, because we've had so much time today on this desk to talk about these two teams and how they match up and how they want to play against one another. But it's really important to highlight the fact that this is a top-of-the-table clash, FLICKR.
Yes, it is. Sorry, Fish, that was my fault.
I've just broken FLICKR. Error for FLICKR not found at the moment. But yeah, it's a top-of-the-table clash. Whoever wins this game will head to top of their conference.
Yep, it is. The winner will be the Eastern Conference hero, and we don't get to normally crown that from two teams that a lot of Western fans haven't heard of.
Well, for now, to, you know, make sure that FLICKR is sane and still okay on this desk, we're going to send it back to Pulse and Clement as quick as we can. Quick, get it out of here.
Cheers, Fish. I don't know what you did to FLICKR. I still hear a cackling over there. Like, what happened?
I would like Fish to know I was also top of my class.
But yeah, no. Coming into this matchup, it is very interesting that this is literally top of the table clash in the Eastern Conference right now, and it could come down to literally any team. Like, I saw good stuff from JD, good stuff from Suning Gaming, and it just depends what we can see now from both teams.
And I agree with FLICKR, and I feel like it does come down to who has the better jungle mid synergy. In game 2, we could see that Yagao wasn't able to contribute much at all in the game. He was constantly pushed in. He never got a blue buff.
Yep.
And he was basically taken out.
I do feel a lot will come down to this champion select, in fact, because I think you're right on the money there, Clement. You know, a lot went down to how that jungle worked out, how the mid lane worked out, and if rather Clid and Yagao don't get champions they're comfortable on or can do a lot with, becomes a major issue very quickly. Well, we have a bunch of champions being banned out. That's Zoe, Kog'Maw, and Azir from Suning Gaming, so lots of respect shown towards Yagao, and it will be Camille, Braum, and LeBlanc, actually, towards Suning Gaming.
Oh, are they really going to risk the gangplank? I feel like that's a wrong move to do. Good for Suning not picking into that gangplank when Jingdong has already showed the ability to punish that so hard.
Yeah, I will say that Lee Sin is still open, and the aggressive junglers are still open for Clid as well. There's Jarvan and Lee Sin.
Xin Zhao is kind of interesting. It's very early in the draft, so I think that was just more of a quiver. Suning Gaming, again, going for more of that scaling type of core.
That will be Ryze and Ezreal once again. It was very good for Fury, to be fair. And also Knight getting his hands on Ryze once again. Constant priority picks, in fact, on Ryze, is important to mention. But there's the Lee Sin. And
here we go.
Honestly, like, I feel like you need to start banning out Lee. Like, yes, he's not, you know, a core part of the meta right now, but when you have Flawless and Clid and players like even MLXG running around the Rift, when they show a propensity to move towards the pick, just ban it.
Yeah, that does raise a lot of question marks. So Suning did decide to ban the Kog'Maw over the Lee Sin. Very interesting there. They probably didn't want to deal with a scaling AD carry on the other side of the table.
And Kalista is not dead. Kalista has been picked up here by JD Gaming. I'll be going into the bottom lane there for Loken as well. Picked up first rotation, in fact.
Seeing a Tom Kench hover here. Alistar is a kind of a takeaway from the Kalista. Kalista really likes going with the aggressive supports. So you're looking at Leona, Alistar, and Braum. And with Braum like off the table, Alistar is probably the next big pick there. So kind of a takeaway there from Suning Gaming.
Yep, Alistar locked in there for Suning Gaming, and it will be a Tam Kench ban away as well. So wouldn't be surprised if Suning look to just hit the support champion pool as much as possible now.
If you like Illaoi, this might be a good game for XiaoAL to actually pick it up.
I keep saying this when Ornn's locked in. I say it every single time, and I'm always shut down. But no, I agree with you.
Of course you do. Yeah, we definitely knew that.
Yeah, on the opposite side, Nah is banned out against XiaoAL, which just creates even better breeding grounds for a potential Illaoi pick. Tarek also going to be the final ban from Suning Gaming, so again, narrowing that support pool there. So Shen is still available though if you want a support tank, and also synergizes very well with Kalista.
Yeah, Shen is decent into these types of matchups, but the Alistar should be able to just knock the Kalista away. Jingdong Gaming is coming out with a very early game type of shell. Kalista doesn't do a lot of damage, falls off quite hard in the mid to late game. Lee Sin, you really need to be a god on him to kind of influence. But what Jingdong does have in their hands is a superior jungle matchup and also the counter pick to mid lane. So if we're going by the logic of like the mid jungle synergy, then Jingdong actually do have quite a leg up here. And Leona, one of the other big engaged supports we've been talking about just in the second ban phase.
But I feel like a lot of this spirals out from the fact that Lee Sin was left open, and it would still be bad if Jarvan was left open, which, Clid could also have moved towards. But this is Lee Sin at the end of the day, so Yagao can pretty much pick anything right now, and it's probably going to be good jungle mid synergy.
Hovering over the Galio, they do want to go in all in, basically on the first 30 minutes of the game with this kind of draft. Galio, the changes to him is that he does more damage in terms of AP, but he takes more physical damage. You now need actually 800 AP to match the armor reduction from the patch in Worlds.
Yep.
So he is easier to take down by AD carries.
But he does hit like an absolute truck from what we've been seeing.
Which is pretty insane.
Yeah.
I feel like the champion probably needs a couple Mercs. And
Please,
Illaoi showing up.
Please! She's been picked so many times.
Like we said, this is actually a good time to pick her because if you look at Jingdong's composition, they have to go into Suning.
Yes, it happened!
This is probably the best situation because you deal with Illaoi's teamfight problem.
Yes, you do, unfortunately. As we spoke about during the break, you do meet that problem later on to the game where, yes, she maybe wins laning phase, but then how are you going to utilize it? In a sieging situation, it might not be too bad. Able to get those constant tests of wills down, tests of spirits rather, and able to chunk people out. In that sense, it can be good, but yeah, if you're looking for flanks and if it's watered out, then good luck, mate.
Well, basically, Jingdong's composition solves all of that problem. Jingdong is going to run straight into Suning, and if Illaoi can't get her ult off at the right time, that leap of faith, that, dream, Christmas dream, five-man tentacle party.
Whew, the five-man tentacle party is what every Illaoi lives for, Clement, is when you're able to land the E first and the ultimate after onto multiple targets and the clone. Pretty much everyone's going to die after that, especially if you land the E onto an important target.
This has better be your best cast of your life if that actually happens.
Hey, well, we pretty much need to swap roles right here, Clement. I will become the color caster.
Hey, I know enough about Illaoi. Probably not as much as you, but enough to cast.
I'll sprinkle in some random Illaoi facts.
Sure, you're more than welcome.
But no, wonderful, wonderful. Finally, we get to see it, or rather, I get to see it, because Mouse has already played it. Xiang played it as well, actually, from OMG. It is currently 1-2, 50% win rate, so pretty much the chances of them winning this game, to be honest. Because JD Gaming, they've managed to get Lee Sin, and I would say probably a winning mid lane and jungle matchup as well, at least able to facilitate Clid's aggression in the early game, and that's really what led to Suning's downfall in game 1.
So basically, I feel like this game is Suning saying, this is our trump card, this is our second play of the game, and we're going to put everything on XiaoAL's shoulders.
Yep.
And he's definitely a worthy candidate for that type of trust. Like, most solo kills in the top lane in the 2017 summer split, plays a lot of fighters. We've seen his Jax. It was absolutely terrifying. And now again on another fighter.
Yeah, I remember last split, his coach was touting him as a top 3 top laner in the LPL, and at that time we honestly hadn't seen a lot from Suning Gaming, so it was real brave words from him. But now that he's picking up the Illaoi, now that he's picking up a fighter who can literally win the entire game by itself, We'll see if that is actually the case. And as you said, this was the perfect opportunity for it. A composition that wants to run into Suning Gaming. If there's an Illaoi there, she's going to put a stop to that.
It's pretty interesting that Leona decided to go for the Aftershock. We have seen some pressy attacks. We have seen some wonky stuff coming out in that position, but going for the more traditional.
Yep. Shout out to the fans as well who are staying around with us. It's 10:30 right now here in China. So it is getting late. We started quite early in the day as well.
Oh, in an e-commerce war, you're either with me or against me, and you have to stay to the end, okay?
Yeah, pretty much everyone did as well.
It's a very hype matchup.
Yeah, we had a long, long pause if you didn't see it. And in the mid lane, you get to see a bit of Galio and Ryze. I actually wonder what type of build Yagao will look for in this game. You know, because it's Yagao, I hope that he goes for a bit more damage. Maybe he goes for the Abyssal Mass first and looks for the Liandry second.
Yeah, we have seen the Galios go into Liandry's and then even go for the Death Cap. It does so much damage to the enemy backline, and you get so much magic resistance from the AP as well. It makes certain compositions basically unplayable against you.
Yeah, initial flag here. I'm not sure if XiaoAL has set up his level 1 tentacles. Usually when you get into lane, you want to, before the minions spawn, go up to as many walls as possible and place down some tentacles, basically, especially in some melee matchups, because it just means that you come in level 1 with massive advantage, and you start with W, which means that you basically have 2 abilities at the same time.
Well, he definitely started Q right there, but unfortunately missed his first attempt on Zoom.
Yeah, Q usually indicates that you want to push out the lane as fast as possible. You can usually mimic the same thing if you set up level 1 tentacles, but he's not actually looking to do that. It seems like he's just last hitting, and because he was also helping Tian on the top side, it makes it even more curious because you're not going to be able to push out the lane if initial push goes to Zoom.
It's kind of an interesting trade over there. Maybe he was worried about the Lee Sin level 2. We've actually seen Clid do this in previous games.
Yeah, that's a possibility as well. In which case, going for QE as your initial 2 spells might not be too bad, because you can land the E and then follow up with damage at range.
We're seeing that Jingdong really want to prioritize their bot lane, so they started in the top half of the map, and we have seen Clid just go for that cheeky level 2 gank into the top lanes.
Yeah. Fun fact with Illaoi, when you're using Kleptomancy, once you use your E, that also procs Kleptomancy, so you want to auto-attack, wait 2 seconds, use Q or W, then wait 2 seconds and do it again. And if your opponent stays in range, you can get 3 procs of Kleptomancy off of 1 clone.
Just to clarify, that 2 seconds is the innate cooldown for the Kleptomancy Keystone. And yes, that is the reason why Illaoi is so powerful, because you can get that Kleptomancy off even on Spirits.
You can also get Presence of Mind. So if you actually go towards the Precision Tree and you kill the clone, you get free mana.
Okay, that should be most of the Illaoi facts for today. we'll
Don't worry, I've got way more.
We definitely will chime in more when it's relevant.
Yeah, we've moved away. I'll leave it to the cameraman. If the observer moves up there, we'll talk about it.
Okay.
If not, we'll talk about it.
Sure.
But, hey, there we go. So, Illaoi. Basically, if 2 tentacles hit at the same time, within 0.75 seconds, it deals significantly reduced damage. I believe it's around 50%. So you want to time your swings every couple seconds, especially when using W. However, if you go maximum cooldown reduction and pop ultimate, your W only goes down to 1.1 seconds. So you're actually fine to mash W in a team fight.
Just to interrupt you, but we are seeing a 4v2 play develop in the
we
bot
are.
lane.
Yoon and Fury under this tower, and Fury's like, no, I'm out, see ya. Yoon
Flashes
trapped
away.
underneath this tower by himself, and Yagao is going to slam down with a Colossal Smash for the kill.
Oh,
what happened topside? Comes in for the dive.
What? Double kill on
Oh, no! And Knight comes in to try and clean up, but don't go for this. This could easily turn into a triple for Zoom.
Zoom definitely has his W up right now, so he's going to get the shielding if he needs it. I'm not sure Knight should go for this.
What happened? Why are you
gonna
still
try.
here?
That
Go!
Portal proc will kill him.
He's so incredibly low, but the calls come in from XiaoAL. He's saying, I can try and go for this. Level 6
Oh,
are being
dodges
procced
it
by
with
Zoom. Good dodge, but Xiao's now chasing after, and Zoom just runs away.
This is catastrophe for Suning Gaming. They send 3-man to the top lane, don't get anything, get a double kill on Zoom, and then in the bot lane, they lose their first turret and also give up first blood.
Okay, we'll see actually how this happened, because they land the initial E onto Zoom, which is usually a good thing for them. Almost proc the clone out, but XiaoAL's trying to keep the door open, and he jumps back in to finish it. Oh, no.
This
and then
is
the final tower shot comes
basically a confirmation that Illaoi is a bad champion. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. But that was really poorly played on Suning's part. Their members kind of funneled in one at a time. They didn't really put all their damage and CC at the right time together. That wasn't stacked. So it was basically Ornn 1v1, winning 1v1, and then going into another one.
Now, I'll tell you what it is. It's Lee syndrome, but for Illaoi. It's like when you land that Q and like, oh, I can do it. It's like when you land the E, it's like, I could finish this off with one auto attack and I can slow them, get all the tentacles down. It's too good to be true. But then he put himself back in tower range. So it was not the right thing to do there, unfortunately.
And just to recap kind of what happened, we did see Yagao use the minion dematerializer to get that early 4v2 in the bot side.
Meanwhile, in the mid lane, good taunt onto Sejuani, dragging it back into Mao, who is also here. Also able to clear out this ward as well, courtesy of Yagao and Mao's synergy there. Meanwhile, in the top lane, we've actually got a swap up. That tower has gone down in the bottom side, but XiaoAL's now going to have to try and defend 1 versus 2. Does have that level 6 though, so diving
Tian
in is a little bit risky. Oh, he's going to start off on these Krogs.
If he uses his W right here, Lee Sin should be able to go in.
Uses Might. Tian so far isn't using anything whatsoever. Yoon's actually coming up to this top side as well. Tempest comes down. Clid pretty much just walks out of the bush and hits Tempest. Now he's just essentially being a pest.
Very good pressure from Jingdong right here. The most Suning can get in the bot lane is really just a single bot lane tower. And Jingdong is looking at a possible 2-for-1 scenario if this goes past the 10-minute mark. So Suning Gaming deciding to swap their bot lane into the top lane, deny that. They're basically saying that, okay, we accept the bot lane tower loss, but we don't want you to get more more objective snowballed. And I think that's a very smart choice by Suning Gaming right here, because Jingdong Gaming are playing a composition that can get out of hand very easily. You don't really want to trade objectives with them.
And top lane is still being sieged in though. Mao just get that damage down. Actually engages onto Fury. Got a teleport out from JD Gaming. Tian coming in and the Ram. The Ornn comes out and instantly kills Fury. Charges into the tower. Zhonya's effect coming in from Yoon. Same thing from Clid. Juggling the aggro. Tian trying to defend his tower now, but there's essentially 2 tanks against the world. This tower should be falling to JD.
Yeah, it does look like the hero's entrance was stopped by Rune Prison from Knight, but it doesn't look like it will salvage the situation in the top lane.
Yoon engaging once again, waiting essentially for Knight to get into this fight, but there are no minions, as you said. One last minion. Tower shots now coming down on top of JD, but Tian still falls. Knight was not there in time. There was one last minion there that managed to collect a tower shot, and then Zoom just managed to walk away, it looked like.
Good play from Jingdong all around, basically. Able to like overload this top lane. They knew that they had the Kalista ultimate, so they were able to juggle that aggro. Loken doesn't get hit by any of the CC coming out from Yoon right there. So kind of an interesting play happening right there. Very good play by Loken, able to dodge out on that. That might have meant his life.
And honestly, I feel like this early game pressure out from Tian has just been misplaced, right? Like, this is the classic thing that happens when there's Illaoi in the game. You're just like, well, this is our pick. We need to make it work. But he had a 20 to 30 CS advantage over Zoom. You don't need to go to that lane. He will just win naturally. But because he goes to top lane, going front to back early game as Illaoi, or even late game, is actually really horrible and actually led to that circumstance. Obviously, that was like worst case scenario, but there was no need to go there in the first place.
It does feel like Suning Gaming is tunneling very hard on XiaoAL's potential right here. You could see in the draft, they gave up the mid and the jungle priority just for XiaoAL to have that counter pick. And in the game, you could also see the different jungle starts. Jingdong Gaming opted to go bot with their Lee Sin, and the Sejuani opted to go top lane. And they just couldn't do anything against the Ornn. It's so difficult in that scenario right there.
However, still engaging on Illaoi, quite difficult, even with this disadvantage. We'll pop the ultimate because he has the clone, but Zoom getting a couple auto attacks down instantly removes it. Actually not the best time to pop the ultimate from XiaoAL, but I could see the blood in the water.
The danger here is that Jingdong is really going to snowball this game very hard. They have the Herald open for them. If you look at Suning Gaming's bot lane, they're pretty much stuck in their red side jungle. They're never going to go to river, so it should be a very easy objective take for them.
Yep, Yagao and Knight just going to keep on dueling in the mid lane here. Meanwhile, Clid aggressing in the top side. And this is essentially what we predicted out of Champion Select. I mean, as soon as the Lee Sin was locked in, you knew exactly what was going to happen. Pressure's going to come down, wards are going to come down, and then Tian is in the same position. He was putting the Clid in last game.
The problem for me with the game plan Suning had is even if their top dive succeeded, they would have still lost the objective trade. Like, Jingdong was still going to get the bot side turret and the dragon, and they would just swap top, and that would basically cancel out the advantages that the Illaoi had, and they were looking at another 2-for-1 trade.
Yep.
So I just don't feel like this game plan was very well thought through. Like, they probably understood what they wanted to do themselves. Oh, great flash in.
Fantastic CC combo out there in the mid lane. And Knight, he literally just could not move. And the Herald's coming as well to add insult to injury. Suning will not be able to defend this tower. And JD's aggression, quite frankly, will just continue working for the next 10-15 minutes because Illaoi can't join the rest of the team right now. And even if she does, she's just not strong enough.
I like that confidence from Clid. He already knew what the play was going to be, and he actually dropped the Herald before that play even finished.
Yeah,
so
just confidence like, gonna work.
Yep, this is gonna work. We're gonna get free mid.
Yeah, lots of confidence in Yagao as well. And to be honest, everything this guy touches turns to gold. Like, there's no reason to doubt this guy when in terms of mechanics and when executing on calls. So good stuff out from JD Gaming, snowballing the mid lane. Mid lane's cracked open. 11 minutes into the game now, 3 towers down for JD Gaming, easily able to go towards the dragon. And there's nothing that Suning can do to contest anything in River.
So we currently have 6 objectives on the side of Jingdong and 0 for Suning. 2 Drakes, 1 Herald, 3 outer turrets. There's not much more to say to that. It's just, even if the gold doesn't show it, they're so far ahead. And if Suning can't kill or like completely push away Jingdong's composition, then Jingdong can just walk right back. They have double Ocean Drakes.
Yep. It's absolutely perfect for them, especially early game as well.
Imagine that on Ornn. This basically means that XiaoAL can't bully him. Yeah.
Yeah. And the next dragon's going to be Infernal as well, and that's almost certainly going to go to JD unless we have a massive swing in the next 6 minutes.
So I feel like the problem with Suning Gaming was like the first macro trade was never going to work out in their favor, even in the best case scenario.
Yep.
And the second thing that went wrong for them was their top lane defense. I think it was a good idea to go to the top lane and try to defend that turret. They didn't want to give Jingdong another 2-for-1 with the Herald, so that's why they did it. But unfortunately, I felt like Clid had very good positioning, and they caught them out in a timing where Tian was not underneath the turret. Clid actually zoned him out from that situation, and Loken already hit 6. He used his ultimate to juggle the tower aggro very, very well. That was another huge, huge play going to Jingdong.
Man, this is really sad because Zoom's able to itemize towards magic resist and still be tanky enough to stop not dying to XiaoAL in the bottom lane just because of how far behind he is.
Yeah.
Like, if he lands an E ultimate combo, it's still not going to kill Ornn. He'll just walk away.
XiaoAL needs to kill him in a single rotation.
Yeah,
I don't see how that's happening.
No. Because usually Illaoi is very good into melee matchups specifically because she outpushes them completely. There's actually just no top laner who can outpush an Illaoi. Melee matchups will just usually get hit by E, which means that you can use the Kleptomancy all game. And level 1 as well, you can just jump on top of them using the W, also using the Kleptomancy. But we never really got to see that because Tian's priority around topside was so janky.
My narrative for the series would be that Illaoi players are delusional. So I'm just throwing that out there.
Hey, there's a reason why it's being picked up, man. Like,
no,
I'm
XiaoAL's a good player.
right
XiaoAL is
now.
a good player. Like, this was a good pick, but the execution, like, the theory behind the execution was not solid.
And it was not so much around XiaoAL himself. I feel it was honestly spiraling out of the jungle role once again. And it wasn't even just in-game, it was also from Champion Select. Like, the fact that you give Clid a lease in, and then you try to move topside as Tian.
Yeah, they were definitely putting a lot of hope there.
Either way, we are going to have a red buff contest now, but smiced away by Tian. So we will get something back, a consolation prize, if you will.
And this is Suning's turn to showcase if they can play a successful defense. We have to remember that Suning's composition is still very good in the late game. I would even say they outscale, especially on the AD carries. Ezreal does a lot more damage.
Ornn comes in. Not going to be the all-in just yet. Actually going for this trade. Pops the Leaf of Faith. Tries to smash down on top of the clone there, but not enough damage to do so. And unfortunately, in the backside, you've got Loken. Misses the E, and XiaoAL is very much dead. Though he goes into his perfect timing, tries to time out the Ren stack. Not going to happen. Zoom picks up the kill.
This is so well timed by Jingdong. So usually in these types of plays, it's actually okay if XiaoAL dies, but what you want is Suning's carries to get more gold. But if you look at the map, how Jingdong timed this is they actually timed it when the Suning waves were pushing out. So Suning's carries didn't actually get any extra farm during that play.
Yeah, pretty unfortunate. Even though it was a big committal from JD Gaming, they can just do this over and over and over again. Because not only do they have control of the bottom side, they have control of the top side. So no one from Suning can actually walk out and get farm if it's far away from them.
And at this point, they can pretty much just send the Leona into towers and put the Galio on top of her. I don't think Leona is ever going to die in that scenario. So the Suning Turtle, I don't know how they are going to really drag this out. Their only hope is kind of wait for the high ground again.
Yeah, pretty much, unless JD really overextend here, but it's just the CC on CC and resistances on resistances for Mao. He's just unkillable right now, even at this low HP. He gets gobbled up by a Loken, ready to be shot back out. And this fight in the jungle is starting to stall out because the tanks are so big right now. But XiaoAL, very late ultimate coming out from him. Clid looking for the kick on tonight. He's going to pop out the Zhonya's and jump over the wall. Very good timing. Just managing to dodge out of the CC from JD. They are still winning this fight. Ornn comes in, knocks up Knight, just in time. Unable to get out of the round warp. 2 kills to JD.
And that was a 5v4 for the first 10 seconds of that fight. And Leona still did not die. She got 2 get out of jail free cards in the Galio ultimate and also in Fate's Call from Kalista right there. So you could see Suning, they had a good engage right there. That was the correct play to make, but they're just so far behind that they can't make it happen.
Yeah, they just simply don't have enough damage. They could play that fight absolutely perfectly, but it's still just not enough at this point in time. Infernal Dragon, 1 minute left on that one. JD have complete control of the bottom side, but we can see that one more time. As you said, Mao just unstoppable.
Yeah, look at the members funneling in for Jingdong Gaming right now. Suning Gaming definitely got here first. They have all 5 of their players on screen at this point. Still can't take out LvMao. LvMao's already gone from this situation. And then finally, Clid comes in, and Loken is completely untouched, so this fight kind of turns into a foregone conclusion.
Yeah, and meanwhile on Illaoi camp, she walked into the fight and it was just perfect CC layering from JD. It seemed like everything hit her one after another, unable to pop the E or the ultimate. So even though it had the perfect positioning, unable to do anything about it. So JD very much aware of what Illaoi can do even in this scenario and able to shut it down.
Now, I don't think they took Illaoi into consideration at all.
Yeah. I feel
why would they? She's irrelevant
saying
at this point.
Right in the middle of the fight, everyone laid the CC. Talented CC.
I don't think it was about Illaoi. I think it was more about there was a Suning member there. It was like, okay, we'll CC her.
CC them to death. And the fact that Mao just has all the CC and just cannot die right now. Yeah, it's a pretty sad game, to be honest. This is actually still technically a perfect game, I believe.
Oh, it is.
No kills, no towers, no dragons.
It might be our first perfect game of the LPL.
Of this split.
Yes.
Yeah, good possibility. So no one die. Mao's not going to die. Loken possibly under attack. Tian looks like he may fall here. Ornn coming in, looking for the knock-on tonight. We'll get it. Flash forward from Yagao. Look at that damage coming out from Galio. Loken falling through as well. And Yoon using his headbutt to try and slink away. Not going to happen. 3 kills in the tower to JD.
I love how Yagao goes for those instant taunts. The taunt duration is much shorter if you do that, but in those type of scenarios where you have follow-up CC, it doesn't matter. It's so clean on these plays.
Yep, and this bottom tower next to fall. We've got Fury around the side as well, trying to poke away at the minion wave, but that is it's going to take a lot of Mystic shots, unfortunately, to clear that one away. We've got the pull down onto Clid, but not going to stop the assault of JD. And the perfect game continues.
I think XiaoAL is feeling a bit of Illaoi shame. He didn't even try to break the perfect game in the top lane.
Can you define Illaoi shame, Clid?
It's like I feel shameful for picking this champion. It kind of lost me in the game.
He's innocent.
I'm just kidding.
He's innocent.
I'm just kidding with you. I'm just kidding with you.
I'm just his fault. 100% was.
Yeah, it actually was a good pick. I could definitely see the context for the pick. That's definitely true.
I was gonna say I was about to go on Twitch and clip you. Like you 100% said it's a good pick. All right, let's take a look at that one more time. Initiation, essentially. Oh, it was the flash coming out from Loken.
Good try from you.
Yeah.
Loken, even better reflexes. Let's watch that Yagao flash taunt again.
Pretty sexy. Oh. Following up from the Ram. Knocked up. Taunted.
Double taunt. Cleans up both
into
members.
Knockback. There's a lot of small bits of CC from JD in this game, and the fact that they're able to layer it one after another in terms of communication, like that's probably the most impressive thing to me so far in these team fights, is that they're not just all scrambling to CC at the same time.
Yeah, I'm a bit bummed that we're not seeing a new playstyle from Suning. Like, they tried this scaling composition basically all 3 games, and it didn't really work out for them anytime. I think that's still going to be a lingering question down the stretch of this split, is can Suning actually play these compositions?
But at least they're trying it, and it's good to try it early.
That is
start
true.
developing on it.
Tian's going to have a very hard time going in.
Yeah, assuming Yagao are just the gatekeepers right now, I think they're just going to give up. Yeah, not going to happen, so the Ren comes through. About 2,000 damage on that one, and JD pick up the Baron. They have a Baron, 6 towers, 3 dragons, and a Herald to their name.
The question right now really is this going to be a perfect game from Jingdong Gaming? Do they really care about
All right, let's
that?
start theorizing who's the most likely to die on JD, because there's not a lot of squishy members. I'd probably say Clid maybe, but he's got a lot of tank items.
Yeah, I still would say the Leona, just because I feel like that's the, that's the easy play for Jingdong to make, just tower dive with the Leona. And for them, it kind of doesn't matter if she dies or not.
Yeah.
So my bet would be on Leona if it does happen.
Okay. I'm going to say Clid. I'm going to say Clid goes into the back lines, looks for a kick.
I've seen him do some crazy stuff that was pretty detrimental to his own health. So that's definitely a possibility.
A call, but maybe
we have seen Clid kind of, especially in the IG games, go for some weird stuff.
Crazy moves.
Yeah, crazy moves that did not work out for him.
Horn. Get the knock up onto 2, but pretty much just open this one up, forcing that flash out from Fury as well, the Solar Flare. Tian blocking up the front lines, trying to keep this tower alive, but it's already down to half. And quite frankly, JD got everything they wanted from that push. In the perfect scenario, would have been getting the tower, but for an Ornn ultimate that's going to be off cooldown very shortly in a couple minion waves, it's exactly what they needed.
Yep. Short respite as the minion wave is still funneling in for Jingdong Gaming. Gives Suning enough time to clear the bottom wave.
I'm glad you said respite the correct way. Got the hook there onto Clid. He's actually just going to take it to the face. Yeah, definitely don't do that.
Actually, your prediction might be correct. I just watched Clid go down to half. Like,
Well, Clid stuck there, like at the edge of leash range, and was like, "Yeah, I'll take it."
That is Clid for you, though. So,
yeah,
I'm suddenly feeling less certain about my Leona choice.
Hey, if you want to Raz and flip-flop, you're more than welcome to.
I'm not flip-flopping. I'm not Raz.
All right, fair. I can respect that. Always landed the Q. Where's the Lee Syndrome? I saw Yagao teleporting in the mid lane as well. I thought that might have been an opportunity for JD to go in.
Yeah.
But if we're being honest, they could just play slow and knock down the tower.
Yeah, they could choose to not do that, but they're definitely in the driver's seat, and they do have that option on the table. Right now, we're really talking about this in a kind of casual fashion because there's very little chance that Suning Gaming actually comes back into the game.
Yeah.
It's going to take
every regard.
Yeah, it's going to take some very, very large mistakes from Jingdong.
There we go. Ornn once again gets the triple knock up. The focus is the tower. XiaoAL with a leap of faith, but it's not enough. Ultimate coming in once again, and it was literally just 1 Q. Suning Gaming have to evacuate the premises. Top lane tower is down. Top lane inhibitor soon to follow.
All 3 inhibitors down. Jingdong Gaming, they probably are going to try to go for that perfect game. They're backing out, not pushing their luck too far.
Now, you're talking about noob traps with ultimate hack, Clement, but what is a noob trap is using Q during Illaoi ultimate. Because that does not speed up. Tentacle swings, yes. Q, no. So never use your Q unless there's a good reason to.
He was almost dead, so he wanted the health back.
That's fair.
Take that, Illaoi main.
No, that's fair. That's totally fair. Oh, Clid going in. Nice flash kick, but he is under duress. Might look for the kill here. Got the kill onto Knight, however. Tian backing away. No mana to lock him down. And still 14-0. It's still the perfect game on the cards. Clid dropping low. Kick in.
Can Clid
and
survive
Loken
this?
backing away. He's kiting away from Tian. He's got a little bit of mana left, and Clid
misses
so
the Q.
incredibly low. Anything could come down and kill him. In comes the Ram once more, knocks up the front line. XiaoAL just came back from base, and Clid staying around on a knife's edge. Yoon will fall, however. 3 kills down to JD. All inhibitors fallen. Tian gonna be the last one, and Fury the last hope to prevent this from being a perfect game here, as JD knocking on the front doors. 17-0, 11 towers to 0. They have absolutely everything as they move on to the Nexus. Mao, he's low. Fury, he's looking for it. Not in time. Perfect game from JD Gaming.
Oh, I felt good about picking Leona at the end because either way I would have been correct.
Yeah, he would have been the man to die, Clement. So you were right on the money, but unfortunately, he was saved by the bell.
That was very clean game from Jingdong, and I really think this does stem back to their coaching again. You know, UDJ, also a very accomplished coach all the way back from the LMS region, was actually BB's first jungler as well. Spent a lot of time in the LPL, and we can see that even though Jingdong was supposed to be this starless kind of rookie team, they're still pulling out incredibly good, clean macro, very good trades in the start of the game, and just clean all around. Also can play defensive.
Yep, clean all around, good macro, good micro. And frankly, they just look like a good team right now. That puts them at 4-1, once again reclaiming top of the table, away from IG, who managed to claim their win earlier in the week. But they have more games to play, so we'll see if they can even it on up. But once again, still claiming top of the table is quite a feat for JD Gaming, considering it's a new roster being thrown together.
Absolutely no one expected this.
Absolutely not. We'll have to see if they can maintain that as the split goes on. But so far, impressive stuff. That being said, Suning Gaming also able to display pretty good macro. We saw that in Game 2. I will say that the losses just felt like draft problems. Like the final one, less so. That was very much out of the jungle. But the first one was, the first game rather, was draft into poor jungle execution. Final game was okay draft into poor jungle execution.
For me, the drafts were kind of okay. I even think the first game was playable in terms of a draft perspective. It was just like the execution in-game were pretty wrong, especially Tian's early moves. We saw them backfire twice in the series. Do need to work on that, and we're looking at the statistics. There's nothing on the board for Suning, so that is a perfect game.
Yeah, a full perfect game out from JD. And it was just a dismantling, to be honest, and it all spiraled out from that initial play in top lane, where it was an absolute disaster on that dive. XiaoAL, Tian, and Knight unable to make it happen.
And we can see why blue side is so important in the LPL, much higher win rate. That Zoe pick is incredibly important, and we can also see that Suning Gaming, because they didn't want to ban it themselves, they actually picked blue side for it.
Yeah,
that's how important.
And to be fair, they actually ended up winning that game because of the priorities they managed to get in that one, but I just feel like the problem is just ban the Lee Sin against the Lee Sin main. That's how I feel, Clement. Either way, we're going to send it over to the analyst desk to take a look at the game.
Thank you very much, guys. And Pulse, FLICKR, before we break down this game, you know, we have to address something. Pulse got to cast his first Illaoi game ever. And he is so salty. That man is full of salt.
Would you like some calamari with your salt, Pulse?
I mean, he's also doing the Salt Bay right now, but still, it was a shellacking going over to Jingdong Gaming against Suning there, and it was a one-sided affair going into game number 3, and it all started from a series of unfortunate events in the top lane for FLICKR, and I know you really want to talk about that, especially picking up Ignite.
Yeah, I'm a big fan on Unsealed Spellbook Ornn. Now, he does have a little bit more flexibility in the keystones that he takes. A lot of the time, though, we will see him take Unsealed Spellbook if he's in a matchup that he feels not too strong in. And when you take Unsealed Spellbook and you take the Ignite, I hear a lot of analysts talk about how it offers champions like Ornn and Vladimir to make aggressive plays so that their jungler shows up that they have kill pressure early on where normally they wouldn't. I actually disagree. I think they take Ignite simply because they know they're going to get pushed in, and if you try to dive a Vladimir and Ornn who has an Ignite that early on, you get punished for it, and then this is what happens. It snowballs into a massive problem where someone who should have lost a lane phase suddenly becomes that much more terrifying to try to punish in that lane phase.
It certainly was. I mean, Ornn has already been such a popular pick in the LPL and globally in general, can be flexed as a support as well, and diving at that early with the Ignite, with the Illaoi, didn't quite work out, led to a one-sided victory, and from there it was just clean execution from Jingdong that led to a perfect game for FLICKR.
Yeah, it was super cool to watch. That auto attack was pretty much on its way in the air to deny the perfect game, and then the Nexus explodes.
And Nexus explodes, and that's the first perfect game we have this year in the LPL. We're going to be able to watch that. This was the end of the game. There was literally nothing Suning could do at this point.
Exactly. They had run away with the game. Zoom and incredible performance on Ornn. Clid playing his signature Lee Sin, and then Yagao is probably one of the best Galio players that we have currently in the LPL. Like, that guy, even just watching him farm creeps, he knows the exact hitboxes, he knows all of the combos, and he's just seamless and flawless doing it.
He certainly is, and on top of that, Jingdong Gaming able to win the e-commerce wars that we have been talking about so much. For now, though, we can check in with the man of match, who's going to be Zoom on the Ornn.
Yeah, and it all started out with that initial 2v1 gank into the top lane, but he had the Ignite, drops the Ignite on one member, focuses his CC on the other one, and makes them pay for thinking that they could ever dive Ornn.
And you've already talked about how Zoom, used to be a staple member of the squad, still playing really well this split in the LPL. As tons of fans, we saw a lot of signs for Zoom, not only today, but also yesterday in the victory over RNG.
And all I'm saying, right, is that if you want some free merch, just make the Ornn air horn. Just get the crowd doing it. They've all got the horns, have them have the necklace. You see it go through, everyone blows it.
I mean, after this match, you could always put it on JD.com and give it to Jindong after their victory over the e-commerce wars, able to take down Suning Gaming. That means that Jindong solidify their place at the top of their conference. Now 4-1, and the closest team behind them is now going to be IG, who are 3-1, and they don't even have the head-to-head against Jindong.
And who would have ever expected this coming into week 3 of the LPL, that we've got Snake and JD Gaming as the heads, the kings of the Western and Eastern Conference. That's no WE, that's no EDG, that's no RNG to be found.
And we still have a couple more weeks before we go into cross-conference between these two groups. What are we expecting to change between these groups? Because there's only one thing for certain, which is there's someone at the bottom of the group on each side. That's going to be TOP as well as Vici Gaming at the moment, who have not been able to pick up wins. Can we expect it to be as close as it's been so far?
Well, TOP are probably feeling pretty good that they may get a shot at someone that they could theoretically be in Vici, but all the teams need to ramp up. The interesting thing about cross-conference is that it doesn't impact the standings in terms of, everyone flipping over. It's kind of like free points. You only get one shot at those teams because it's a single round robin versus a double round robin that we do in intra-conference. And so a lot of these teams that haven't picked up those wins, it's that much more important. And historically, probably the #1 team in cross-conference is actually Team WE. It used to be that they would lose all their games in intra-conference and then go into cross-conference and just dominate.
Well, we'll have to see how the rest of the weeks in the LPL pan out. We're still only week 3, day #1 of the LPL, and there are more matches to be played tomorrow. Unfortunately, we will not be broadcasting Tuesday or Wednesday's matches, but on Friday, the English broadcast of the Chinese LPL returns, and it's going to start off with Fun Plus Phoenix go up against Billy Gaming, followed by Vici taking on the Giants of EDG.
And FPX and Billy Gaming, that is probably an exciting match. I would say that it's probably the best series of that day. Again, it's kind of these no-name, unknown organizations with their Western audience that have really risen to power and are bringing so much more excitement and flavor into the LPL.
Remember, that will be on Friday, starting at 5 p.m. Shanghai time. Unfortunately, English broadcast will be taking a break tomorrow and Wednesday, but there'll still be matches played. If you want to check out where those matches will be streamed, you can head to douyu.com or follow us on the English Twitter handle at LPL English. We'll be tweeting out when those matches go live. But that's enough from us here today. It's been a very long broadcast. Thank you for sticking with us, Frostgren. We had Pulse in the desk at some time. Thank you very much to our shoutcasters who stuck through us for the entire day. And thank you guys.
Production.
Thank you, production. Thank you very much, production. And thank you guys back at home who stuck through us through thick and thin for the entire broadcast today. We'll see you guys tomorrow. No, we won't. We'll see you on Friday. I made Dom's mistake. See you then.